can buy bicycle wheels for £100 or £8,000, but a high price tag doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be good. In today's video, I'm going to attempt to rank every wheel I've ridden. May I caveat this with this is just a bit of fun and my personal opinion. There might be some shots fired at your favourite wheels. Absolutely nothing in this video is sponsored. I'm leaving out the one wheel brand that did sponsor me personally, Parkour. Let's do it. Zip 303Ss. Zip are owned by SRAM, and this is, for lack of a better word, their entry-level wheel set. Alright, it's not entry-level at all, but it does come in a pretty good price considering what you get. They're £1,090 for a set. You get carbon rims, tubeless ready, a disc brake with a claimed weight of 1,525 grams. Not too shabby. They're maybe not the most exciting wheel in the world, but here's the best bit. It's a Zip product, so you're getting lifetime warranty. And this covers any intended use. So if you hit a pothole out on a ride, you're covered. If you're doing a bike race and you crash, you're covered. If you get hit by a car though, apparently that doesn't count because you're supposed to be covered by different insurance. But you're covered in a lot of cases, so good job Zip. They are hookless, which might put some people off. Basically what that means is, in the design of the rim, there isn't a hook that holds the tyre on. It's just the tyre pushing against the sides of the rim. That means you can't run too much pressure, and depending on the brand of wheel, they recommend different maximum pressures that you should go to. I would recommend checking carefully the ETRTO recommendations for safe tyre and rim combinations before riding any hookless wheels. It's a total minefield and a topic for a different episode. I'll put a hookless sticker on screen whenever one of these wheels is hookless. Overall, there's not much to mark them down on, and they've always felt great to ride when we've got our hands on them. Therefore, they're going into proper good. Next up, more Zips. Absolutely top of the range from Zip are the NSWs, which apparently stands for Nest Speedworks. Nest being the area of their research and development in their offices. They are fat with a PH, carbon, and 3,376 quid. I've ridden the 353s, which are slightly different to the 453s in not only their depth, being shallower, but they're wider internally and rated for gravel. It's a win-win. Honestly, they ride f***ing unreal, and as they should for the money. And the free hub sounds really cool.
I'm not with you on this, Francis. They are a bit too obnoxious for me.
But I just can't get past the wavy rim thing. They're also weirdly shiny. I am nitpicking here. The model down from these, the normal Firecrest, they do a 404 and a 303. They look better. I've only ridden these ones though on road and gravel. That's what we're rating. They're well expensive and the lower end ones look better in my opinion. Therefore they're going in pretty good. All right, another Zip. The old Zip Firecrest. Many thousands of years ago, I used to race bikes and I saved up lots of money to try and buy a pair of Zips. The god tier bike wheels at the time. The Zip 404 with an aluminium rim brake surface. Unfortunately, I could only afford the front one. But look how cool it is. And yes, 3 white logos as it should be. You had rim brakes that actually worked because you had an aluminium braking surface. What more do you want? It's god tier. Petition to bring back 3 white logos for Zip wheels, please, in the comment section down below. Next up is Campag Borers. Long-time viewers of the channel know what I'm going to say here. Pretty sure Campag hates us after our review of their latest electric group set, the Super Record S, but we made it very clear in that video that despite the group set being pretty average, the wheel set that came with it was god tier. We all know they're good. They're basically high-end fulcrums with different logos on and a different spoke pattern on the rear. Pretty cool spoke pattern as well. Plus points for, despite being Campag wheels, offering loads of different free hub options. So you can actually run these XDR or Hyperglide. These are god tier. But I said that already. The Fast Forward F4R. I was trying to work out what year that I'd ridden. I think it's 2013, maybe 2012, something like that. I was on a great cycling team that really looked after us. They lent us our equipment for the year of racing, and one year I had a Specialized Venge with some fast forwards. However, this was the time before disc brakes, which meant we all rode carbon clinchers and they were all shit. So shit, in fact, that Rob Granville, the owner of Carbon Bike Repair, has once said in an episode of these videos that no braking surfaces should ever be made of carbon fiber. In the dry, they were just about acceptable. In the wet, there was like a 2-second delay before your brakes actually started working. So Well, I guess in the racing that we were doing, everyone was in the same boat, so everyone had the delay, and at least there wasn't someone slowing down quicker than you. I'm sure the hubs were okay, and it was a very light wheel set, and it looked quite cool. But none of that matters, because they are going in the bin. Envy Foundation 45s. When I hear the word Envy, I think fat with a PH, 3 white logos, massive and deep. But they also make a wheel, which is possibly the most boring on the list. The Envy Foundation. They're black carbon wheels. They have a 21mm internal width, 45mm or 65mm deep, and they weigh about 1,500 grams for a set, for the 45mm ones. They feel pretty good to ride, absolutely no complaints there. They use the same bearings as in the SES higher end versions of the wheels, and they have crash replacement, just like Zip. The letdown though is the price. They're 1,800 quid. And you'll see further down this list that there's lots of other wheel brands offering lower price wheels with similar levels of performance. And I think the price is just a bit high. I feel like you're paying for the Envy logo here. And if I'm gonna be paying for an Envy logo, I want it big and white and 3. Envy foundations are meh. And moving on to the proper Envies, the Envy SES series. We've historically called these the Rolex of cycling, and we make a top-end wheel range called the SES, and they tick all the boxes that the foundations don't. They are monumentally fat. They have a 25mm internal diameter, which is huge. So when you put tires on these, they honestly look ridiculous. Not only are these a pro-level wheel, but you're paying for the branding and the kudos. It's a nice thing. You're not necessarily getting that much more performance. The depths of these wheels are mismatched. So depending on which set you buy, the front wheel will be slightly shallower than the rear wheel, and the rim profile changes as well. The front wheel, which is what causes instability in crosswinds, is designed to be more stable than the rear. Does this work? After riding them quite a bit, I think it does. They are strangely calm in very windy conditions, which is every single ride that we do in the Northeast. Obviously though, the price is bonkers. 3,350 quid for a set. But as you'll see as we progress down this list, that's actually not that much compared to some of the other wheels. The Envy SES is going in want. DT Swiss have a very confusing range of wheels that all look the same despite being different price points. I've ridden the mid-range ones, multiple times. The die-cut 1400s ARC, something like that. DB, which stands for disc brake, and that's kind of cool because they still make a rim brake version, and it's quite hard to find high-end rim brake wheels these days. So cool DT Swiss for continuing with that. 20mm internal width means that these aren't the most modern design in the world, but they're certainly not outdated yet either. The massive plus for these DT Swiss wheels are the hubs. DT Swiss manufacture their own hubs. These are DT240s, and they have a ratchet, so the engagement is really, really fast, and you can feel a difference. The downside is, though, that they're boring, aren't they? Like all DT Swiss wheels. Look, I marked Envy down for boringness, and these are the same thing, and £2,000 a set. And you only, again, get one tiny little boring logo. So, meh. Sticking with DT Swiss, the DT Swiss house wheels. We have a set of wheels, which are DT Swiss ER 1400s, and they are called our house wheels. Not as exciting as the house robots from Robot Wars, unfortunately. They're the wheels that we bring out when I don't forget them in the studio, and we put them on bikes that we test to see if we can feel a difference between the frame sets with less variables. We chose these because they are boring, but they're DT Swiss, so they're reliable and alloy and inoffensive, and if we need to change the free hubs, we can always find the right one. They're compatible with everything, a massive plus for DT Swiss here. Therefore, they're pretty good. Halo Drove Line. Halo are best known for their mountain bike wheels, so I was expecting these to be very strong and have well-sealed hubs. Guess what? These are very strong and have well-sealed hubs. I rode these the length of Thailand with loads of bags on my bike, rode them underwater because we got stuck on an island where it just kept raining. Somehow the bearings are still running completely smooth and the wheels are completely true. After many, many miles and many flights. Best thing about these wheels, they're 330 quid. I don't think you'll find much better for that money. So they're going in what? SRAM S80s. My first ever set of racing wheels. These are 80mm carbon clinchers with an alloy braking surface. These were basically zips without the dimples on the rim. Kind of like a golf ball to make it go faster through the wind. And these cost a lot less money. This was back when there wasn't a depth limit in road racing, so you could run as deep wheels as you wanted. I think the limit now is 65mm. I remember turning up to one of my first races at Hog Hill in London, and a competitor looked at my bike before the race and said, "It's not a time trial." Turns out it was a time trial because I attacked on the first lap and lapped the field and won. So, good job, SRAM, for making a very fast wheel. You will always have a special place in my heart. And I regret getting rid of them. So they are a want. The Shimano 105 WH RS7 10 C46 TL. Catchy name, Shimano. This is a 46mm deep carbon wheel set with 21mm internal width and 1,613 gram claimed weight, costing £1,000.
And this is what I think a free hub should sound like.
The perhaps interesting thing about Shimano wheels is that on the majority of their wheel sets, they still use cup and cone bearings, which they've perfected. Which means there's small ball bearings and they're serviceable, instead of using a sealed bearing like most other brands use. They really have perfected the hub system here, and I think they're pretty good value for money, therefore they are pretty good. But not as good as Shimano Ultegra C50s. For £250 more, you're getting a lighter wheel with better carbon layup, a deeper rim which will be faster, 2-to-1 spoke pattern on the rear wheel, and come on, it's cooler looking. Not the lightest wheels on this list by any stretch, but for the price, they're extremely good. In fact, actually, they're proper good. But with all the Shimano wheels, you're locked into a Shimano free hub, therefore they're not a want. Scope R3As. I have these on the bike behind me. Can you see them? Kind of. This was completely unintentional, but how good do those logos match? They have a 23mm internal width, great for gravel. They have crash replacement, every free hub option under the sun, and the best bit, listen to this. I mean, if you're going fast enough, people stop and stare, and you definitely don't need a bell. Some people will love this, some people will hate this. I quite like it. They're going in want. Next is the Miche Carbograph, which is actually pronounced Mika. But I feel weird saying Mika, so I'm just going to say Miche. I had these on a gravel bike a few years ago, and I thought they rode great. The tyres were a pain in the ass to get on and off, but that might have been the combination of the tyres and rim that I was using, but they looked pretty cool. The hubs looked really good. They were pretty light, and the price, which I found out while I was researching this video, surprised me. 1,300 quid. I was expecting loads more. I don't know why. Maybe because Italian. Anyway, they're a pretty good wheel. I'm gonna upset wavy wheel fans now. The Princeton Wake 6560s with Tactic hubs are the most expensive wheels that I've ever ridden. And the hubs alone are over £1,000, some of the lightest on the market. These are mega deep, wavy, wide wheels. And cost 4,900 quid. Do they ride well? Of course they do. They're nearly £5,000. The wavy thing though, is not for me. Also, these black ones, acceptable. The rest of the colour options though, look at this. What is this, Power Rangers? I'm sure some people love them and they've done pretty well in independent testing, but let's face it, if they're the same depth, all of these wheels come within 4 or 5 watts of each other. These, in my opinion, are pretty good. Swisside Hadron Ultimates. Swisside. Why is everything a tongue twister? Swisside make wheels in collaboration with DT Swiss. They have different hubs, but a lot of the same aerodynamic benefits, and these Hadron Ultimates are ridden by the Decathlon AG2R World Tour team. I ended up riding these on a team replica bike. Look, they're not flashy like a set of Zips or Envies, but a World Tour wheel set for 1,396 quid. They have to go in want. If I had to spec a bike specifically for racing, I would strongly consider these. Also, they have a 50% crash replacement if you them up in a race. Elite Wheels make a wheel called the Drive, and I have ridden the rim brake version of this wheel. While they're extremely light for the price, they use carbon spokes. This makes them astronomically stiff. Too stiff. in my opinion. There's a reason why high-end wheel manufacturers still often use steel spokes. It's just a fantastic material for this area. Yeah, there's some wheel brands like Partington and Lightweight that use carbon spokes, but they're often like wrapped around the hub and stretched and all weird technology, and that's why they ride better. But if it's just like a straight pull spoke, I think steel is the way to go. But feel free to correct me in the comments if there's people that know loads about spokes. In this case, I think these wheels are too stiff. I'm sure they make others in the range that are better. And these were carbon rim brakes again, so your brakes don't really work very well. They're going in meh. I think we're on the last wheel of the day. The Cube GR 2.3 with Alex rims. I actually have this wheel. Can you hear this? I bought a Cube New Road and rode it through India for a few weeks. I don't know why I expected better in 2025, but the wheels were crap. New out of the box, the hubs were rumbly and horrible. Now they've gone significantly out of true, and the hubs have got even worse, and you can hear them. The bearings are completely shot and they're very loud. It's a shame, and it lets down what is otherwise a very good value bike. Something that Cube have a reputation for. Come on, bike industry, it's the last little piece of the puzzle if you can solve entry-level bikes coming with completely crap wheels. I'm sure the technology is there. Please try. They always have to be switched out, and that's really annoying if you're a new rider that's just got into cycling and you spent loads of money on a bike and then the wheels have to be replaced after 2 months. For this reason, they are going in the bin. That concludes my wheel tier list. I've definitely missed some. There's not many in the bin, which I guess is a good sign. Have you ridden any crap wheels? Let us know in the comment section down below and subscribe for more.